Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So, for the past few lectures, we have been dealing with the foundational values of civil service, and in this lecture too, we'll be continuing doing the same. In today's lecture, we'll be dealing three values of foundational civil service, which are empathy, tolerance, and objectivity. So, let's look into empathy first. Barker defines empathy as the act of perceiving, understanding, experiencing, and responding to the emotional state and ideas of another person. Like you might get confused on what is this? What sort of definition is this? So let's keep it simple. Let's make it simple. It is nothing but empathy is nothing but the act of putting yourself in someone else's shoes and seeing the fact or the moment, whatever it may be. So, what are the types of empathy? Affective empathy. The ability to share the emotion of others. That's affective empathy. Cognitive empathy. The ability to understand the emotions of others. That's cognitive empathy. Emotional empathy. It's nothing but the ability to regulate one's own decision or one's emotions. That's something emotional empathy brings in about. Now, moving on to the significance. How does empathy help? Empathy helps in the act of policy making to understand the ground realities. For smooth execution of programs as well as to persuade people, like implementation of open defecation free area under the Swachh Bharat mission. Empathy helps in delivering such programs. To increase the public service delivery, empathy plays a very important vital role. So moving on with that, like how the trait of empathy can be enhanced. Like instead of sitting and working inside the office, a civil servant must carry out the field work which will help him or her in developing the empathy and need for the proper socialization through quality leaders, parenting, and family cultures. A good example is like we can see IAS Jitendra Kumar Soni. Like when he was going somewhere, he saw some unprivileged kids going to school barefoot in harsh winters, and thus he started Charan Paduka Abhiyan and distributed shoes to them. It shows his empathy towards the children. Putting his shoes into those children's shoes and seeing the struggle they go through. That is empathy. Now moving on to the next, tolerance. UNESCO says tolerance is respect, acceptance, and appreciation of rich diversity of our world's culture, forms of expression, and ways of being human. See, again, let's make it simple. Tolerance refers to the attitude those whose opinions, practices, race, religion differ from one's own. Let's say if a person is a Hindu and if another person is Muslim and another person is Christian, when all the three live together, that's three live together without any problem with each other, that is tolerance. So why do we need tolerance? See, it upholds the human right which can bring a dignified life and the rule of law, which again leads to harmony and peace in pluralistic society in which diversity is there in many contexts. Yes, India is known for the unity in diversity. Peace in pluralistic society is very necessary for the proper functioning of the nation. Intolerance is antagonistic to free thinking and promotes violence and injustice. And it acts as a reflection of narrow mindedness and civilized living. Now, moving on to the next. Now, what are the different stages of tolerance at the individual level? Like, it not only teaches to respect others, but also teaches us not to impose our will on others, and also helps in broadening our own perspective of thinking and scope. Like, animal sacrifice in some religions might be forbidden, but for some people it's part of culture. So just because you don't like doesn't mean it should be eradicated or not done. No, it's part of their culture. You should tolerate that. Moving on to the next, societal level. It promotes peace and harmony. When you have tolerance at society, it promotes peace and harmony. Unity in diversity of various linguistic groups cemented India together. Where, whereas in the same intolerance led to the formation of Pakistan and civil war in Sri Lanka because they were not tolerant. Government level. Tolerance at the government level will help in increasing the legitimacy and inspire confidence even among the residents. Like accommodative policies of Jawaharlal Nehru were largely responsible for many Mizo insurgents to take part in the elections and vote. That's something government should try to bring in the vulnerable people, the poor people, everyone do the action. International level, it helps maintaining peace and harmony at the international level. Like, of course, in the recent past, there has been not any, not quite peaceful time like Russia, Ukraine war, Israel's war against the Hamas and other groups. But still, tolerating other stuff will help in maintaining peace and harmony at the international level. So, what is the significance? It upholds the human rights, pluralism, and democracy along with the rule of law. Yes, when you are tolerating something, you don't create violence. Where you respect the pluralism, democracy, and the rule of law, and also uphold their human rights. Brings in harmony and peace to a pluralistic society. When people are when people do tolerate, it eventually brings in harmony and peace. And it does not mean tolerance is injustice of to one's conviction. These are some significance which tolerance says about. Like Swami Vivekananda, his speech in Chicago in 1893, he says that I am proud to belong to a religion which has taught the world both tolerance and universal acceptance. So that speaks the level of the importance of tolerance in the current scenario. So moving on to next, we'll be dealing with objectivity. It is about the quality of taking decisions or acting based on observable things or evidence or benefits of the situation rather than just being influenced by emotions, biases, or personal prejudices. See, here it helps in taking right decisions when confronted with ethical issues. An objective civil servant is expected to provide information and advise all the concerned people based on evidence and accurately present them with the facts. Like you just cannot randomly put in something and give them some solution. No, you present them with the facts. Take decision based on merit and consider considering the experts and professional advice. What are the significance? It helps in impartial decision making and ensures the efficient use of resources and enhances the transparency in the public domain. See, as a civil servant, you have to make decision making impartially, should not show any type of favor to any group, and also ensure the efficient use of resources. You cannot focus on one group of society and use resources for them. No, it should be spread equally, and also enhance the transparency in the public domain. They ensure the rule of law. So when objectivity stands, it also helps in cultivating other values like integrity and transparency, and also helps in resolving the ethical dilemma. See, what are the steps for inculcating objectivity? Training. See, your training must be given to bring in the thoughts of objectivity into critical thinking. So, critical thinking is nothing but when you get into a situation, you have to clearly think, analyze all the advantages and disadvantages, finally come to decision. Right to review decision. So you have to change some decisions at some time. So you have to think of different alternatives and change the way or change the decision you have taken. Right to be heard. Some people might not have high voice to be heard, but still, as a civil servant, you must take right decision. Make sure everyone is heard. Information management. Everyone gets a lot of information in the day. Proper information with evidence and facts only must be considered before taking in some steps. And transparency. Bringing in transparency is one of the major fact of thing. So yes guys, we are done with today's lecture. Hope you guys understood the values. We will resume with the next lecture with remaining values soon. Do like, share, subscribe the channel and the video. We'll resume with the channel. We'll resume with the next lecture soon. Thank you.